discarded by the retired teachers.
Kinong mi khamat ki bedeiru kinong hikai na ki school but college deficit bayarap ka Sorkar jala but kumju ru na ke benta ki weipat kinong hikai ki bala shangthat kilapan paw ye ke jing sokhya halor ke jingpen bana jong ka Sorkar haba ïadei but ka Meghalaya non-government schools and colleges employees centralized fund scheme 8,000 apun riew haba pen paw halor ka ne o president ke KGD STA o babu baswell pala but ka Dr. BH Buam retired associate professor PGT College kila ang maki seng jang ki kynhun nonghikai bapher kila pen pau ke jing ai khuble ya ka Sorkar par khamtam e ya mentri rangba ka jilla u konrat sangma ha ka shitarik u yayong la pen bana ba pen jalan ya ka pension scheme kum ka jing itho ya ka jing no sanyang ki nonghikai henrei kum ki nonghikai ki pen pau pat ka jing sokhya habaya dei bat ka jing pen bana ya ka pension scheme 8,000 upon riew ka ba hadian ka jing selok ka bala ai jingmut da ki babon ki seng nonghikai ya kani ki scheme la ya kentat da baro bat la deb ru ban asha ka Sorkar ya kimat ki bala deb ban persha kilieh thu ru halor ka draft scheme jong snam 8,000 pulai ka bala deb ya kran sani bha bat ka bala bo da ka record hakamat ka yeng bishar ka balong ru ka baya pher na ka pension scheme jong u 8,000 arpun riew kila keno ru baka Sorkar kala pen kenya ki jing bha ka yeng kashari ba wat hapadeng bala sha kentat bat kane kadang dan hapdeng ke jingsha bishar ka Sorkar kala yat shakmat ban Pyntreikam da ka scheme 8,000 apun riew kilieh thu ru baki nonghikai ki betrei ha u yayong usnam 8,000 shipho ki hap hapo ki kindon jangka Meghalaya non-government schools and colleges employees centralized provident fund act khat khandai hinriu pho khandai ki tu pat ki bala sha thung hadin usnam 8,000 shipho ki hap hapo ka national pension system kumbala pen bana ha u jemang 8,000 pulai ka bala pen bana paidbah ru ha u remphang usnam 8,000 apusan kila pen pau baka pension scheme usnam 8,000 pun riew kamla ban penne ya ka jingi penya pher balabo kardan da ka yeng bishar bat na ka daw jong ka jing bom shai ka Sorkar halor ka scheme bai bam tymmen kinong hikai ki hap mat ki jing e menta hala yeng lasam namar la bun snam ki bai bam tymmen kila shu sakut hapo ki bank account komta kila dawa ya ka Sorkar ban shimkhya ya ka ne ka jing e ba ki ya kando laslam
People from the media and we appreciate, we acknowledge your commitment to your service. The fact that you're here, it's very well understood because, the members on the dais, they had already spoken and threadbare about what the situation is all about. Well, I believe that as a retired teacher, I would also like to make you aware about the position that we are in. The recent development is such that, to our utter shock and dismay, the recent announcement of the pension scheme of 2026, it has thrown everything into a traumatizing situation for each one of us. Because the reason is, we agreed to the mutually approved scheme, the pension draft scheme of 2023. We consented, and that is why our accumulated CPF entire amount has been transferred to the newly created fund. But since 2024, the money is lying dormant. I do not know, and we do not know, what is happening to that money. Well, the recent development is something that we strongly condemn. Condemned because it is a very inhuman action on the part of the government. We in the retired teachers, we believe, we are of the opinion that this scheme, was something that they are trying to circumvent the law. The matter that is more concerning is that the state government total disregard to the legal process. When the matter is sub judice, as you have heard, when we expect that the state government, who should lead from the front as law abiding, they should have respected it. Now the fact that this scheme of 2026 has been announced by our Honorable Chief Minister, I am again in shock. And we are in shock because we have an opinion that maybe our Chief Minister do not know about the background and the history of this entire pension matter case. He has not been fed in a proper way. He has not been misled. Otherwise, our respectable Honorable Chief Minister, who being very intelligent, would not have come out and make that announcement. So we totally condemned it. Condemned for the offensive action. Offensive action more so committed by the state government. Now we also have, we gathered and we feel deceived, we feel betrayed, because as I said, we previously agreed to transfer our accumulated CPF to a centralized pension fund. The 2023, I reiterate what the leaders of the organizations have mentioned. It was in compliance with the MPF Act of 1969. And this is the background, the premise on which this pension matter has been at the center. Now furthermore, the 2026 scheme is detrimental to the interest and well-being of the petitioners. Now more so, especially to the retired teachers. As it has been spoken, shared, that it is an annuity model. What are we as retired teachers to do with that model? That is a question. What are we to do? Because this scheme, it is applicable to the new entrants and not for people who have already served sentences for years together. Now where do we stand? Will this delay carry on? Will the government play its game? Don't just listen and say that every policies, interventions of the government are people-centric. It is not. I am taking as the matter of the retired teachers per se. Now talking about this applicability of the annuity model, this model, it is being discarded by the retired teachers. Now, as I mentioned, it is meant for whom? For the new entrants. So where do we go about? You say 50% you're giving, 50% you keep. What will you do with that money? This is again illegal. With the challenges are there, I'm telling you. I can cite many things. People have, the dependents are there. It is hitting my dependents. It is hitting me.
Representatives of teaching and non-teaching staff of various deficit grant and aid institutions of the state of Meghalaya. We are the stakeholders in the various steps that the government takes with regard to education and the staff involved in deficit schools and colleges. You are aware that on the 1st of April 2026 this year, some 3 weeks back, the Honorable Chief Minister announced that the Meghalaya non-government schools and colleges employee centralized fund scheme 2026 was approved by the cabinet. As per this scheme of 2026, the Chief Minister said that the employees of non-government schools and colleges will be able to avail the benefits of the Provident Fund in a structured and secure manner. Implied in the Provident Fund, as per the Meghalaya Non-Government School and Colleges Employees Centralized Provident Fund Scheme Act of 1969, we understand that the deficit staff, both teaching and non-teaching, are to get a pension scheme. We welcome a pension scheme that is extended to us as per the Act and the law, and in recognition of our contribution to society, especially in shaping young minds, the students. We appreciate also the government's recognition of our service and its commitment towards the education sector, especially us, the educators. However, as the main stakeholders, the teaching and non-teaching staff in deficit grant and aid institutions all across Meghalaya, schools and colleges, we are deeply concerned with this announcement of the Chief Minister on the 1st of April. The pension scheme that was announced on that day, the pension scheme of 2026, and it was notified by the Education Department of the Government of Meghalaya, was put up in the internet, and views were sought on it sometime in January, February of this year. We, the members of the various associations and stakeholders, after discussing threadbare the set pension scheme of 2026 that was circulated on this public platform, we had unanimously rejected the same scheme of 2026, and we have also sent our objections and rejections to the Education Department. Further, despite our unanimous rejections submitted to the government through our different associations as stakeholders, the government has sadly gone ahead with the process of implementation of the rejected scheme, the scheme of 2026. As per the government's intent of forcefully implementing the pension scheme of 2026, contrary to the matter being sub judice in court, the Education Department, through a letter, has issued a notification recently instructing and directing stakeholders, the members of the teaching and non-teaching staff in schools and colleges, both retired and currently serving, to open our individual PRAN accounts, PRAN, Permanent Retired Account Number. Here, may I inform the members, through you, our friends in the press, and we would like to place on record that an earlier draft pension scheme of 2023 had been circulated, and it was thoroughly discussed, and it was mutually agreed upon and approved also by the government and the stakeholders as per the record of the court. There are many orders of the court that pertain to this. This pension scheme of 2023 is not the same as the recently announced notified scheme of 2026. It is completely different. Secondly, may I state that we, the stakeholders, those appointed before April 2010, had in all good faith and intention signed our consent, and accordingly we have transferred our provident funds as per the government's instruction to the Central Provident Fund account in SBI Lyngba branch. We expected during that transfer a just retirement benefit, which is mandated by the Act, again the Act of 1969. This retirement benefit would be in the form of the draft pension scheme of 2023. Important to note here that our members of the teaching and non-teaching staff in Meghalaya have been divided into two categories, by the court, also by the government, acknowledged by the government. Teachers who were appointed before April 2010 would come under the CPF scheme under the Meghalaya Provident Fund Act of 1969, and those who were appointed from April 2010 onwards would come under the NPS. In fact, the office memorandum through a notification was sent to schools and colleges to implement this NPS sometime in 2024.